Good Morning Night Vale is brought to you by The Disappearances of Lydia Fontaine, a new independently produced and crowdfunded 10-episode original audio drama. Set in a deceptively familiar world of electronic surveillance and machine-mediated communication, The Disappearances of Lydia Fontaine follows Lydia Ryan and her friends, lovelorn Ethan and wannabe internet sensation Dee, as they struggle to unravel the mystery of her mother's disappearance. Escape the sinister Fontaine family, and survive the feud over her grandfather's supernatural legacy. It weaves bitter family drama and high-stakes intrigue with fantasy and cyberpunk elements to create a surreal mystery about secrets and grudges, old books, big data, and the promise of infinite knowledge. And do not forget the talking birds. It's a full-cast production with original music and a bespoke soundscape presented through a series of found-footage-style surveillance recordings. And it's important to note, this show was made entirely without generative AI. Even the computers are voiced by human actors. Episodes are free, and you can start listening right now with the Season 1 finale due to come out on August 16th. For more information, go to lydiadisappears.com. and find The Disappearances of Lydia Fontaine wherever you get your podcasts and start listening from the beginning.
Insurance isn't one size fits all, and shopping for it shouldn't feel like squeezing into something that just doesn't fit. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they show you options that fit your budget. Enough hunting for discounts, trying to calculate rates, and tinkering with coverages. Maybe you're picking out your very first policy, or maybe you're just looking for something that works better for you and your family. Either way, they make it simple to see your options. No guesswork, no surprises. Ready to see how easy and fun shopping for car insurance can be? Visit Progressive.com and give the Name Your Price tool a try. Take the stress out of shopping and find coverage that fits your life, on your terms. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
The Arctic is lit by the midnight sun. The surface of the moon is lit by the face of the earth.
Our little town is lit too by lights just above that we cannot explain.
Good morning, Night Vale.
Hello all, welcome to Good Morning Night Vale. My name is Meg Bashwiner and I play the voice of Deb on the podcast Welcome to Night Vale, and I am here co-hosting or try-hosting this show with Hal Lublin and Symphony Sanders.
Hey, I'm Symphony Sanders and I play Tamika Flynn.
I'm Hal Lublin and I play Steve Carlsberg.
We are here discussing episode 3 of Welcome to Night Vale, Station Management. On this podcast, we dissect and discuss episodes of Welcome to Night Vale, and this episode is Station Management.
Here's the description. It's contract renewal time with station management, and negotiations get tricky, plus a new city litter initiative, books stop working, and a creeping fear comes to town.
So many things. So yeah, it's such a fun episode to go back to. I forgot how deeply strange and weird this one is and how unsettling it ends. Spoilers for the ends. It has a very unsettling end.
Yeah, especially I wrote, I think just at the end, leaves on a scary note because you're not sure what happens. And Cecil sounds pretty panicked in this one.
Yeah, this was definitely one of the ones where I went to the next episode right away and be like, do we get a follow-up on this? I pulled out my script book. I was like, what happens next? But spoilers, business as usual.
I had a weird revelation listening to this episode, and it made me think of panels that we've done at different Comic-Cons. And stuff that Jeffrey and Joseph have said, because people, the fans of this show have created such a strong visual canon for what they think the characters look like. And I know Joseph and Jeffrey have hit upon over and over again that that's up to your interpretation. We never really describe, not that the show is devoid of visual description, but that they don't pinpoint characters necessarily and exactly what they look like. There's no third eye or flame tattoos or any of the things that have become normal. And yet, listening to this,
there's tentacles.
There were tentacles, right. So sorry, my version is flames.
Sorry, your headcanon.
But it just struck me how visually descriptive this felt, and I don't know if that's me putting it on because the music really helps to guide my visual sense when I'm listening to it. But I did feel like there were more descriptions of how things looked and details than I would have expected just based on the talks that we've had about it in the past. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. Like when they're describing what the station management potentially looks like through the door and what the office looks like and how it's like basically impossible, like almost TARDIS style, like bigger than it's supposed to be. And then when they're coming to get Cecil, I guess, like when he's hiding under the desk, you know, he hears like the clicking sound and like all that stuff. And like, you know, he talks about how he can make out certain things throughout that. But also if you look at Telly the Barber, he's super described in this episode. Like what he looks like. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, they're really good at describing the monster and describing what the monster looks like in this episode. And yeah, that what you just said, Symphony, where they talk about what Telly looks like. And Telly has got lots of defining characteristics. He has like a paunchy belly and they give him an age. So yeah, the station management is very, very frightening. And it's definitely a frightening episode. We get in the world of Night Vale, we kill our first intern, we think.
Yeah.
Intern Chad is eulogized in this episode. And there's also Jerry, who's eulogized in this episode, although Chad makes it.
Yeah.
We don't, Chad comes back later.
Oh.
And Chad has episodes about him.
It's the same Chad?
It's the same Chad. He gets out. We just think he's dead.
So I love that Cecil's willing to just give up on them then. Like, he's not even like, if he's not really sure that they're not even dead, but he's just like, to their families.
Yeah, and then 80 episodes later, we get more information about Chad. And Chad makes waves.
Is this the first time that an intern is eulogized?
I believe this is our first number one in the intern death count.
Oh, I feel like we should make a list or something, like of all the interns that have gone to the hereafter. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah. Or those that we think have gone to the hereafter and don't. There's definitely some resurgence. There's a couple interns that die and then return to us.
Yeah, and there's some people that like get all like with the orange juice thing. Like they're not dead necessarily, right? They just go invisible or something.
Yeah, I love how you're sort of dropped into the middle of this, of what's going to become a running joke. And I think that's like what works so well about it is the idea that this has happened some time ago, but he's now just getting around to telling the parents because it's so commonplace at the station that these interns are gone, that it's like, oh yeah, also to your parents, too bad. He was a good kid.
Yeah, which is the best way to tell someone that their child has died, is just on their radio program, be like, also.
Also, this person has passed away.
Another thing that struck me in this episode is another thing that I remember sort of early on when Night Vale kind of blew up and people were looking for a way to describe it quickly, is they would describe it as being like Lovecraftian. And I wonder if this episode is the genesis of that, because they talk about the tentacles coming out, like the way he describes station management feels kind of Cthulhu-esque.
Right.
And I can imagine that's something people held on to and made that because I know that Jeffrey and Joseph sort of don't subscribe to that. They're like, well, it's not supposed to be Lovecraftian, but this might have been the place where people sort of hooked into that first.
Yeah, I think that could have been the origin of that. But, I don't know how that got on to Cecil, you know what I mean? Or is it just like almost like a living embodiment of like what this, like maybe he's part of that station, but I don't know. Or just tentacles look cool.
Mm-hmm.
Tentacles are scary. Yeah, octopus are a scary animal because they're everywhere and they're super smart.
They are smart and they can get out of like tiny holes. Have you seen that video?
I have seen that video where
Oh, so grody.
Yeah, good for them though.
When I was a kid, I had an irrational fear of octopi as a child. Like, in any depth of water, I thought, this is the time. I know how it's going to happen. Like, it'll wrap its legs or tentacles around me. I'll be dragged to the bottom of the sea, and it won't even be bites. I'll be wholly consumed in one gulp. And then I saw Popeye, the Robert Altman Popeye, with that giant sea creature, which somehow in my memory is the world's biggest octopus. And that was like, that's what they all look like. It's coming for me. Guarantee you. Let's not go to the swim club.
And then there's Ursula the Sea Witch.
True.
Which I was a little afraid of Ursula, though, as a child, but as an adult woman, I identify with her. So,
but she would have to eat you through her mouth, because she was like a half octopus. She was bottom half octopus, top part woman.
yeah, she was like a mer octopus. There's a little bit of a confused identity there, and that's fine.
Right.
That's fine. But yeah, she'd had like a person top half.
Right.
But
Yeah. But I think, like, anatomically, if you, like, look at a octopus, like, don't they eat through the bottom bit?
Yeah. It's the Sarlacc pit, but it swims. That's what it is.
Yeah, they're also delicious, and I feel bad. It's one of the animals that I feel really bad about eating.
Because they're so smart.
They're so smart.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to eat a dolphin or a dog, but I'm like, I occasionally eat a pig.
Right.
Not a whole pig, but like a portion of a pig.
Do you think it's because it's ugly?
No, I think pigs are beautiful. I just think that there's
No, octopus. Octopus.
No, I think octopus are pretty too. I don't know. They're also just, to me, it's like they're tastier than I am morally attached to them.
I want to see that Venn diagram so badly. I need that drawn out for me, please.
Back to the show. We have the whole Carlos's haircut thing that happens, where in the first description of Carlos we get in the pilot is that Carlos has perfect hair, and then in this episode we have Telly cutting the perfect hair. And it's just so crushing for Cecil. And we're not entirely sure why this is this horrible thing where it's just a haircut that it's like, we're cool with the interns dying, but the haircut, that's the problem.
And, like, he's so mad about it. Like, that's how he goes into the whole, like, Telly description. It's almost like he's calling for his listeners to, like, go after Telly, right? Kind of.
Yeah.
Yes. Again, this is like the continuation of the early seeds planted of Cecil being an unreliable narrator, because he's almost all his reaction and what he personally believes, as opposed to the fact it's like he had perfect hair, he got it cut, here's the monster that did it, let's go get him, he's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely have those feelings about previous eyebrow waxers of mine, but that's not for another time and another place.
Wait, no, it's for right now. Because here, I have a question about this. I get the hair in the middle, like my eyebrows are trying to shake hands all the time.
Yeah.
But I shouldn't wax it because it sounds terrible. Did somebody ever wax your entire eyebrow off by mistake? I'm curious.
No, never the whole eyebrow, but I've definitely had varying degrees of either looking like Teen Wolf or looking like the most Jersey I possibly could be, having been born in New Jersey.
Thin and giant arch.
Like 1998 Drew Barrymore. Like,
yes. Yeah. I was actually looking at old pictures of myself because it was old headshot day recently. And I was like, God, my eyebrows were so thin. But it was like, the look was to have like thin, very like sharp eyebrows. And now it's a little bit more, you got to fleek it.
Yeah.
You got to fleek the eyebrow.
You got to fleek it. And sometimes you go to get your eyebrows done, as this is the beauty podcast where we talk about getting your eyebrows done. Mm-hmm. And you pay them you pay them depending on where you go, anywhere from $8 to $25, and they do nothing. They take like a little bit off and you're like, well, okay, I look exactly the same. Or you go and they take way too much. Or you find the perfect person and they do a great job and then you move. Or they move.
Or they move. Something happens.
So Hal, don't get your eyebrows waxed, because it's just you're setting yourself up for a new part in your life where you can be disappointed by yourself and by others.
Oh, another one? Not interested. Yeah, I'll pass. Hard pass on that.
Well, do it yourself or have your wife do it.
I don't want... Jennifer, do you want to wax my eyebrows? She's not answering. I don't think she's interested.
If it's just the center and you're a dude, you're already shaving part of your face, you can just right down the center with that razor blade. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
You're not...
I do, and then, but I also think, what if I create like a... Yeah. What if they get too far apart and I always look surprised?
It's a good thing. Good luck always look surprised. You always look like you're feeling something.
Which is different from normal. Yes.
You have resting surprised face.
People. I feel nothing.
Let's talk about the contract negotiation, huh? So normally in a general contract negotiation, you go back and forth, right? You talk to the people, but they don't get to see them. So he slides an envelope under the door and the envelope gets slid to him and he has to yell his response through the door. What do you think about that in terms of business?
I'm against it. Although it does feel like that feels to me like the frustration of dealing with office politics blown up. Which I think the best sort of fantastic writing has some basis in reality, so you have kind of a handle to hold on to that brings you into it. And that idea that you're not being heard by the people above you, and they just sort of spit out whatever they feel, and you have to be careful about what you shout because you don't want to make them angry. I think there are a lot of people in their jobs who constantly feel threatened, as if today is the day I'm going to be found out. Today is the day I'm going to be fired. And so you're walking on eggshells. And I think this sort of encapsulates that feeling of general negotiation.
Right.
Yeah. I would say it's not a good business practice, although I'm open to new ways of doing things. I mean, we've been negotiating contracts and it hasn't been fun for years the way we've been normally doing it. So out of the box thinking, right? Try something new. Yeah, it is this interesting look at the office culture and how it is like how we are blowing it up to poke holes in what it is and showing it as the big monster. Another thing that they talk about, they turn to the top of the episode and they start talking about the Night Vale Daily Journal. And how it is an unbiased publication. Yeah, it's just so interesting where we are right now with our relationship to the media and Night Vale's relationship to the media. And this aired 6 years ago in this episode, almost 6 years ago. And that was the relationship to the media then, which is even more magnified now, where it's like this focus on being unbiased and unbought. And there's actually, more of that stuff in the next episode. But it's this kind of interesting look at how the Night Vale media has this similar thread to the media in our world.
I keep being hit with this sense of dread as I listen to the show, which I'm enjoying. I'm enjoying going back through, but I keep thinking to myself, I wish this was less relevant. I wish I was listening to it as a time capsule rather than something that actually was not only expressing frustration with how things were then, but it feels just more magnified now. And that part of it is a little painful.
And they should have told us if they did. They should have let us know. They could have turned out some voters in Pennsylvania if they had. Yeah, sent Hillary to Michigan and really just.
Yeah, definitely. I was thinking about that. How people are biased against our media because of perceived partisanship. And having that be such a big deal in Night Vale is pretty poignant now going back through it. But did they realize at that time that it was going to be that way?
I'm going to say yes, 100%.
Right?
No.
If you're a seer, you should really just put it out there.
Ma Keegan.
Milstefan. Can't wait till we get to that episode. And I'm now that's a thing that people say. Do you think people got that from Night Vale?
I'm going to say yes, 100%. No.
And then Larry Leroy. But I don't know why every time I hear his name, I think Larry Leroy. I don't know why.
There's no other way. No other way.
because you want to make it a little fancier. It's a good impulse.
I'm a fancy gal. That's why.
I love the traffic report in this episode. I think it's hilarious. It's that, they're breaking down the trope of a news report and giving us just a hilarious traffic report where it's just someone watching traffic and reporting back on that.
And it makes you imagine like what Cecil's, what the studio must look like if he's like, oh no, that guy, it's like, can you actually see it, or is he getting a play-by-play? What's happening?
Right. Is it the storefront radio station from Northern Exposure? Or I always imagine like the studio is more of a vault. And maybe this is only when I go, when we do live shows and I go on stage and I'm supposed to be in his studio, I get a very specific idea in my head of what it looks like. And it's never anywhere outside. It's definitely deep within the building. Like no windows.
Yeah, I don't have windows in my headcanon about this. So my headcanon for the Night Vale radio is just where they were like the Frasier recording studio, but like bizarro Frasier. So it's like
so the producer is like outside.
Yeah, it's
like Ross.
It's like the Frasier studio, but everything's weird.
My mind, similar to when we were discussing the bathroom, what I thought that looks like. I always think it looks like a studio that was top of the line renovated in 1958. And it's been 50 or 60 years and it's not falling apart, but it definitely needed to be updated at least 30, 40 years ago.
It's got those mid-modern vibes, but not in a good way.
Yeah. And I always in my head think that there's always flashing lights, like just like flickering lights everywhere. Everyone's induced into epileptic fits,
They can never get those halogen bulbs in just right.
Yeah.
So Cecil is recovering from Lyme disease?
Oh, there's a fun fan theory that we'll talk about with that when we get to the fan theory section. But yeah, it's just offhanded. Cecil's just like, oh, it's also when the creeping dread comes in, it could just be recovering from Lyme disease. Which is good. I'm glad that Cecil was diagnosed and got treatment for Lyme disease because it's a very bad, very scary disease.
I know. I was thinking about that. I'm like, can't you be like you can lose like the faculties of your like legs and stuff?
Yeah, lots of not good things can happen to your body from Lyme disease and your joints. It's just it's a really bad one, and it's very often misdiagnosed or not diagnosed.
And it's ticks, right? Ticks.
Yeah, ticks are carriers of it. The ticks feed on, they're called deer ticks, but I think it's really the ticks are feeding on the mice, and the mice spread the disease.
I know no one can see my face right now, but it's in a upturned scowl.
Disgusted snarl.
That's a much better description.
Yeah, I remember the Lyme disease being referenced in the Thrilling Adventure Hour crossover episode, and like going, "Wait, really?" For some reason in my head, then that was where it was introduced, but it was established that was canon. Like I found out, I think in rehearsal that had already been established. I was like, "Boy, this is levels of deep that I have not visited because I didn't remember. It's like a throwaway,
right?" And even now, like going back to it, and I was like, "Oh yeah," like I forgot about that because it isn't referenced, and when it is, it's just like, "Oh yeah," There's just so many things that it's just like, "Oh yeah, this is just the way it is." I have Lyme disease.
There's also a really good Big Rico's ad read that happens during this.
Yes.
Get the slogan. No one does a slice like Big Rico.
That is also like Big Rico's the only pizza in town, like because literally all the other ones have been burned down. And that it's like it's mandated for you to eat at Big Rico's. But I kind of want to eat there still.
Yeah, I mean it's pizza.
I love pizza.
I do too, but I have a feeling their pizza is like Round Table. And if you like Round Table, there's nothing wrong with that except that the pizza is terrible and you could do better. I want you to do better. For you, this is not about what I think. I want better for you in life.
What's a round table?
Exactly. Oh. It's like Like Domino's, but not as good. Is that painting the picture for you?
Another disgusted scowl.
There it is. Yep.
I mean, I feel a little biased as I am a Chicagoan that, pizza is where my heart is. And my heart is directly in my stomach.
It's a knife and fork food for you because it's deep dish, right?
Actually, yeah, I do like deep dish, but like only occasionally. You can't eat it all the time. Otherwise, especially not me, because I have lactose intolerance. So that cheese, whoa, boy.
And you're also a little sensitive to tomato sauce sometimes too. You
I get
that
the
reflux.
heartburns.
Yeah.
I get the acid reflux.
Yeah.
But yeah, I personally like a nice crispy thin crust pizza I'm more of a toppings person. I'm not a crust.
I love the crust. I just had good Jersey pizza from a place called Esposito's in Cedar Grove, New Jersey. Shout out. And it's
sponsor us.
They just seriously scatter my ashes there.
Official
the place
sponsor.
is excellent. We asked for broccoli. They forgot to put the broccoli on. We just got a plain, and it was delicious. I think toppings are great, but you can really measure a pizzeria on their plain.
Well, and it's your toppings to sauce to cheese to crust ratio.
Yeah.
That really is going to make the difference.
Yeah. Their crust is perfect. It's like Michelangelo just did the Italian gesture kiss noise thing.
You're like, mwah, mwah.
Whenever I'm doing rapid fire Q&As at panels, I always ask Joseph and Jeffrey or whoever I'm doing the lightning round with, Big Ricos or Moonlight All Night.
And what's usually the answer?
Stay right there. Good Morning Night Vale will return after a brief break.
What do you pick for Big Ricos or Moonlight All Night?
I think that's tough. I think I'm going to go with Big Ricos.
Okay.
Even though I do like diner food.
Alligator.
Oh, I love pizza so much. And now, it's the last thing we talked about. So, a dog, I'm like that. But I can't. I grew up going to diners. My favorite restaurant growing up was the Country Club Diner on Cotman Avenue. Shout out, the other sponsor of the show, the bakery and restaurant, and in Northeast Philadelphia. And I just love diners. If there's a diner somewhere, I will drag Jennifer in there. We should go to the diner. It's the best restaurant on earth.
Are you Guy Fieri?
How dare you? How dare you? Never in a million years. Meg, what about you?
I'm going to go with Moonlight All Night for similar reasons to you, Hal, is that I've got that Northeast diner nostalgia. I always said I wanted to have my wedding at the Six Brothers Diner in Totowa, New Jersey. I didn't have my wedding there, but I should have now, going back and thinking about it. But yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can have your
second wedding there? Oh.
Yeah. I was going to say rededication, but that's not the right word.
Yeah.
You're not a building.
Renew your vows.
Yes, renew.
Yeah.
Yes, that's it.
Yes.
Yeah, and we really should be including more diner foods in our vows next time we go around at it. So I'll talk to Joseph about that.
You're the bacon to my eggs.
Absolutely.
You
You're my veggie omelet. I'm your Greek salad.
We will stick together like raisins and rice pudding.
So we're going to hear some fan comments, questions, and theories about this episode. But first, let's talk about the weather.
So today's weather was Bill and Annie by Chuck Brodsky. And it was sad.
It was a sad one. What I loved is that at the end of this episode right before the weather, Cecil's hiding under a desk. He's broadcasting from the end of his life. We don't know what's going to happen. There's ominous music playing, and then all of a sudden we are just in this twangy folk song.
Yeah, but it's one of those story ones where you're like, oh, it's about people and relationships and love and loss, and it's pretty beautiful, as many of our songs on the weather are.
Yeah, it's a really nice piece of music. It for some reason I didn't attach it to what was going on. It just felt like a break from the intensity, which I was okay with. Mm-hmm. that in general is my relationship with the weather in Night Vale, is I don't always attach it to what's going on. It just feels like this is a break in the action, and then when we come back, our conclusion.
I agree.
Yeah, I have that vibe too. This situation, though, I was like, what a night and day shift. Like, what a bounce.
Yeah.
From like the ominous tones too. But no, that's not how it sounds. Chuck, I'm sorry. That's not how it sounds. I was not trying to do a bad banjo sound. But it's just like it's such a different tone musically.
Yeah.
Oh, and when we come back from this weather, Cecil is still hiding under his desk. And that's when we get another great description of the station management. But yeah, it does kind of the weather did take us out of that tense sort of situation and gives you like a respite from that, like, you know, adrenaline fueled fear.
And we come back and it's not resolved.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
There was none of that nice, like,
no.
It just cleans up all the weather happens. That occasionally, that happens in a lot of episodes. It's just like everything gets all cleaned up underneath the weather. We come back and we figure out what happened. But this one, I was like, oh, no. We're still in it. We are exactly where we've left off with our narrator in peril. I
like that. It felt, it was refreshing. It was refreshing just based on, the first two episodes, but also like, that's always my memories. We come back, it gets resolved. And obviously for the live shows, it's different. It kind of has to, you don't want to leave the audience on a cliffhanger and then say, all right, have a safe drive. But for that reason, it felt like, oh, this is, I'm more on the edge of my seat, and it does a great job of me as a listener being drawn in for the next episode and wondering what the resolution will be, what's going to happen. And at this point, we're only 3 episodes in, so it would have been easy to assume,
right,
is Cecil not going to be the narrator anymore? Will we have another person next week? So it's interesting to imagine what it would be like to be listening to this when it was first released with no other material. You know, at this point, you know, you don't have a ton of people to discuss fan theory with because it's not the biggest podcast in the world. So I love that idea that we're left with a bunch of questions, not only about this character, but what it means for the overall show.
And especially when, yeah, it is so early in the thing, and they've already killed off 2 interns so easily. So what is it like? We're not technically super attached to the host, but thank goodness he was okay. Sorry, spoilers. Spoilers. 6 years later.
Do we want to take a look at some of what the fans are saying? We asked our lovely fans to write to us or call our Google Voice number with information, comments, questions, theories about the first 10 episodes of the show. And we got such a great response. And I've had just the best time today going through that Gmail inbox, looking at all the fun things that you send me. And to let everyone know, I read every email and listened to every voicemail. So you have been heard. If you're not spoken about right now, just know that a woman sat in her office and looked at your thing. And that woman was me.
It's worth pointing out that at this point we're recording this. It'll be listened to later, but we're recording this in the beginning of May, and nobody has any idea what they were submitting questions, comments, and theories for. These were blind submissions that you looked through, which it blows my mind.
Yeah. It was so great to get such a response for this show that doesn't exist yet. So, well, it exists, just not to you, but it does now. We're in a time loop.
Diddle.
I don't know what to tell future Meg. I guess keep flossing. It'll only get better from here. So we have from Elizabeth. Elizabeth writes, in episode 3, while the creeping fear is passing through town, Cecil mentions his reaction to it could be part of his battle with Lyme disease. I personally excuse the, quote, boringness of the first few episodes by headcanoning that he is just exhausted from his health problems. And I will say that Elizabeth wrote us a lovely email where Elizabeth talked about how they love the show and how it's great, and every episode has a different meaning for them and lots of wonderful things. So, but Elizabeth did say that the first couple episodes where we were finding our feet were growing to the par that Elizabeth would come to expect from us. So, I guess describing it as boring, Elizabeth's not saying bad things, but Elizabeth said other nice things. Anyway.
Constructive.
So yeah, constructive things. So yeah, I think that it's funny that we can just, us finding our feet with making the show can just be written off as Cecil's battle with Lyme disease. That's why.
Well, and it's a testament to how much Elizabeth loves the show that they were able to go back and say, well, I'm going to retcon all this. It's clearly the Lyme's disease. But also, here's an interesting thing that I learned years ago. I was working on a TV pilot and writing it, and I went back and watched, like, what are the greatest pilots of all time? And by and large, the pilot episodes of your favorite shows are nowhere near where they wind up. It's very few. Like,
right.
Cheers was there right out of the gate. Mary Tyler Moore was pretty close. But a lot of, like, I'm a huge Friends fan. The first episode of Friends, it was great in 1995. But when you watch it now, knowing how great it is in season 3, 4, and 5, you go, this is not that good.
Yeah, I think anytime you're developing characters and introducing a whole new world to someone, I mean, there's going to be stuff, number one, you as the audience member don't know, right? And like, so you have to be like patient to understand what's happening in the world. Like, you're not going to understand everything. It's not like, it's like when you're born, you don't know everything, right? You only find it out soon thereafter.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, this is episode 3, and these first 10 episodes that we've asked audience members to react to this is the first time that Joseph and Jeffrey ever wrote a podcast. This is the first time that Cecil ever recorded a podcast. This is the third time Cecil ever sat behind a microphone with a Night Vale script and created this world. So attempt number 3 looks a lot different than attempt number 126.
Right.
So I think that it's really great that we were at such a strong point in the beginning when we were really starting from nothing to be where it is in the beginning of the show and to get to where it is today. So, yeah. So it was a little boring at first, but when compared to the sparks of, Strix Corp and the sparks of all sorts of crazy things that happened in Night Vale, but it can be a little bit boring in comparison to all of those things that have been developed and exploded.
But I don't know. I'm one of those people that is really in it for the journey, though. Like, I don't need it to be wham, bam, out of the gate. I kind of want to be like, oh, who is this person? What's happening? Whatever. And especially with Night Vale being so weird, like, it's got to be really tough to be like, oh, yes, now you understand all the inner workings of, this, and you should love this guy.
Cool. So we have Fiona has written in and said Fiona's theory is interns don't die. They find their way out of Night Vale. Which is an interesting take and offers hope for all of those interns out there.
But as you mentioned, Chad does come back. So he's not.
Chad comes back with the story.
That is a pretty interesting theory, though, that they just like escaped Night Vale or somehow were thrust out maybe through like some sort of door to a different dimension or something. Who knows?
We have from Gwen, and I hope I'm saying your name right, from episodes 1 through 10. Gwen says, my favorite episode is probably number 3, Station Management. I love scary monsters, and this episode nailed how bone-chillingly scary station management is, how it can decimate anyone's life, and how it is not a force to be reckoned with. We may not know anything about its appearance other than terrifying, but honestly, I think station management is cool and scary as heck. Hearing its footfalls and roars was so thrillingly honest. I think Night Vale's medium is really what made it feel as intimately as it did. So
I have to agree with that 100%. I listened to this with headphones on, and it is really, but again, it's enough description plus the music, and then the moments where there is no music. There aren't a ton of sound effects in this. You really only have Cecil and the stuff that Disparition is doing. So the way those work together, it really, I mean, again, there was a time when the audio medium was the way we told stories and the way we ingested stories. And it's such a great medium in that it requires you to use your imagination. You will fill in the blanks. And the way they set up the terror in this does that beautifully. I think it's a very well-made point by Gwen.
And then we have one more from Sarah. Sarah writes, Leanne Hart has been one of my favorite characters since she was introduced. I really relate to her love of journalism, her innovative ideas, her willingness to blatantly deny things that she has done, and her hatchet abilities. Even though all of those characteristics weren't fleshed out in these first episodes, the groundwork was laid for a fantastic woman. And then also from Sarah, we have a theory. Sarah's theory is Cecil 100% had something to do with Telly's fate, whether through some sort of mental powers of his own, either conscious or unconscious, or through some other entity that he has a vested interest in Cecil's happiness. Telly definitely barbered the wrong stunning coif. So from Sarah, yeah, I like. We didn't really talk about Leanne Hart. This is the first episode where Leanne Hart is introduced, and I really liked how Sarah describes her and how Sarah connected to Leanne. And yeah, we were talking about earlier in the episode how Cecil has some beef with Telly and is maybe putting some stuff out there in the universe for Telly.
And I definitely agree with that theory that like Cecil had something to do with, whether it was him directly or him just like calling on his listeners to, go get Telly, like to roll up on him, hey boys, let's go roll up on this fool cutting people's hair. But I always love the characters that like necessarily don't have a voice, but you hear about them, like the fire chief, Ramona Encarnacion, and Leanne Hart, and she's not the Rock. She's not the one that's the Rock.
No,
that's the
River Rock.
I'm gonna remember that later. But yeah, I always love those characters because they're so interesting and they give like a depth to the world of Night Vale and makes it even more strange because you're like, why do they have a take on this issue, or they were at this thing? So it just, I don't know, it just fleshes out the universe.
So those are our fan questions, comments, and fan theories. More information in our credits about how you can talk to us about your fan theories, comments, and questions about future episodes of Welcome to Night Vale on Good Morning Night Vale. So this brings us to the end, y'all, of episode number 3, Good Morning Station Management. I want to thank everyone for listening. I want to thank Hal and Symphony for being beautiful, beautiful creatures. Next week, we are going to be doing episode 4, Good Morning PTA Meeting, where we will speak with our guest, Jeffrey Craner, who is the co-writer of Welcome to Night Vale and Your Real Dad. So we have an exciting episode coming up next week with Jeffrey.
He is a daddy. He is daddy.
He is our daddy.
Papa?
But until then, good morning, Night Vale. Good morning. Good Morning Night Vale is a Night Vale Presents production. It is hosted by Symphony Sanders, Hal Lublin, and Meg Bashwiner. It is edited by Grant Stewart. It is mixed by Vincent Cacchione. It is produced by Meg Bashwiner. Theme music by Disparition. Special thanks to our fans who submitted their thoughts, questions, and deeply held beliefs to us. Leave us a voicemail at 929-277-2050 or email us at info@goodmorningnightVale.com to share your theories and ask questions, or to tell us which host you would prefer to receive an organ donation from. For more info on this show, go to goodmorningnightVale.com and follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Night Vale Chat. Special thanks to Christy Gressman, Jeffrey Craner, Joseph Fink, and Adam Cecil. Today's adverb, daintily. The horse daintily stomped its rider to death, because while he was a murderous horse, he was also a prize-winning dressage horse and did everything with the grace of a ballerina on a butterfly's wing.